So this next section we're going to talk about funding, and 5 areas come to mind in relation to looking at the funds that you may have available to you. The first one of those relates to your existing budget. It doesn't matter whether you're at the start, the end or in the middle of your current financial year. It relates to the numbers. Now what I'm suggesting is look at what budget you have remaining, and also look at budget you might have allocated over the next 2 or 3 months. Is that the right time to be spending it, and are the activities that you've got in mind the right ones? But once you've got that figure, make sure you ring fence it. And what do we mean by that? I mean talking to your own internal accounts department, talking to the Ministry of Finance and any other powers that be, in order to make sure that that money's going to be left available for when you need it. And if that carries over into a new financial year, then so be it. It's going to be key that you've got that extra funding to add into the arsenal and the pot of money that you've got available for next year. Number 2 is to start talking now to those same individuals about what's your budget going to be for the next financial year. Now, as we've already said, tourism is a key area for investment here because it can impact so much, not only on your economy but also on your population. So let's see what maximum budget we can squeeze out of the overall funds to put into marketing for tourism. So that's number 2. Number 3 is to start the process now of talking to external sources of funding, and by that we mean international governments, we mean conservation organisations, we mean organisations like the World Bank. Okay, so now one of the issues with World Bank in particular is they have very stringent procurement processes that can be a little bit long-winded. So we're going to be talking to them in terms of the way that we might be able to ensure that those processes are still adhered to, but the time frame is minimised, because actually we need to get active and be doing things as soon as possible rather than waiting 6-9 months after the crisis has ended. We do think that there should be the opportunity for existing relationships to be extended. We do believe that there should be the opportunity for shortlists to be very quickly created by tourist boards who are a little bit more aware of the kind of companies that they want to work with. You could even consider putting things like broad proposal requirements out there now that would allow you to look at the creativity and look at the understanding that exists within those agencies. Because what you can't afford is agencies to go through a learning curve. They need to understand your destination, they need to know their source market, and they need to know it now. You can't have that 12 months of actually starting to learn about a destination. So these are the kind of key things that you can start to put in place now. Now obviously there's a process there, there's expressions of interest, there's requests for proposals, and there's terms of reference. If you need help putting any of those things together, then we can point you in a direction where you can get that work done at an absolutely minimal cost in order to speed the process up and get out there and get this happening. Now, don't forget, there will be lots of destinations who will be chasing the same money from organisations like World Bank. So let's make sure that we're at the front of the queue, that we've started that process, and that will probably involve tourist boards, it'll involve ministers, and it might even go to the very top of your government in order to make sure that you're in place and you're putting the right proposals into them to get that key funding available for your destination. Ideas 4 and 5 are very closely linked, and they relate to stakeholders. Now the first one from stakeholders, and by stakeholders I mean not only your private sector but also airlines that fly in and out of your destination. Start talking to them now. Make them part of that process. Help them to understand the challenges that are being faced. Listen to their challenges as well, and collectively work out what you can do together. Now it may be that they have no budget to assist in this process, but they may have also ring-fenced budget. So let's find out what everyone's doing. Is there cash that can be contributed? And idea number 5 is not just cash, but it's what else can they contribute. So can your accommodation owners provide you with an allocation of rooms that can be used free of charge for media trips and for fam trips and prizes? Will the airlines go down the same route? Now we know that they've always been keen to help in the past. I think they'll be equally as keen now. So those are the 5 areas. Number 1, your existing budget ring fenced. Number 2, start asking for what your budget is going to be in the next financial period already. Number 3 is to look at organisations who might be able to externally fund you, like World Bank. 4 and 5 relate to talking to stakeholders, your private sector and airlines, in terms of what kind of support can they give to you. At the end of this process, you should have a good idea of the kind of monies that you've got in your funds and how you can move forward. Thanks for listening.